Hello folks, Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another Legacy video. Just a quick heads up, I've added something to kind of my business model here. Dealer's Choice Donation deck list is now its own tier at a cheaper price point, because some people have been supporting my channel just saying like, hey, whatever you want to play, I'm cool with that. So I decided to kind of give a discount on that and turn it into its own tier formally. Okay, actual content itself now. Today we are going to be playing with Joseph N's Mono Green Enchantress Storm deck list, and this deck is wild, and I am so excited for it to do its thing. So, generally speaking, we're an Enchantress deck. We have Argothian Enchantress and Enchantress's presence, like you are used to seeing, as ways to draw additional cards. What's new here is that we are trying to finish with Aeve Progenitor ooze. Now, this is a weird storm card in that, like, this is a legendary creature, but the tokens aren't legendary anymore, okay? So this is going to enter the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each other ooze you control. So the oozes you create are going to gradually get larger and larger and larger, okay? So how do we be a mono-green storm deck? Well, essentially, we are going to have things that let us return enchantments from our graveyard to hand. We are going to have things that untap all of our lands, and our lands are going to have some ability to go and produce extra mana via the wild growths and utopia sprawls that we're used to working with. What's new about this version of the Storm deck is that we're going to make extra land drops. So we can play Gaia's Touch for 2 mana, which is essentially a free card since you can sacrifice it for 2 green mana. So we play it, draw a couple cards off our Enchantress effects, use its 0 ability to put a forest from our hand onto the battlefield, sacrifice it, and we can also sacrifice Unbridled Growths to draw cards, and then we will use a Rofellos' Gift to return these cards to our hand. We will make extra mana using Early Harvest, and then make some oozes. So now this may be a little janky, but it is like definitely cool as hell. Generally speaking, we have less of a plan B with this deck than most other Enchantress decks do, right? So like normally you can do like the whole Destiny Spinner shenanigans, or you can rip Helm, or you can cast an Emrakul. Like there's a lot of ways to win the game when you're playing Enchantress. With this one, we essentially just have 2. We can call it 2.5. So we can have our ooze tokens, or we can cast a Tendrils of Agony and kill our opponent. Now, Tendrils of Agony will be a little hard to cast, but Utopia Sprawl can name black, and so can Unbridled Growth. Like, that's how we're going to go about doing this. As far as the sideboard goes, there's a lot of traditional mono-green hate cards here, Choke, Seal of Primordiums, Collector Ouphe, Carpets, Endurances, and we do have a Gaddock Teague, which we can fetch with our couple of copies of Green Sun, as well as some Abrupt Decays for when we need to answer, like, say, an Aethersworn Canonist or something like that. I think we're going to win and lose by very large amounts here, and I'm very excited to see this in action. All right, let's go ahead and hop right into the league. Before we do, please consider clicking the like button and subscribing to the channel if you aren't already. Those are the easiest ways to support my content for free. And remember, if you want to get one of your own decks on the channel, or you want to try out this deck list, that information is always available in the video description. Here we go. Oh, I don't think I talked about this in the deck tech. When I said I have 2.5 win conditions, like, technically this can turn into a 5/5 that I can try to kill my opponent with. Okay, how do I feel about this hand? I have an Enchantress effect, but not enough lands. Like, I really want a second land here, especially with, like, this Gaia's Touch in hand. So I can... Yeah, I think I'm just gonna mulligan this one and try to find something that makes an Enchantress effect on turn 2. Doesn't do that. I really don't want to mulligan into Oblivion here. Yikes. I don't have an Enchantress effect. I have 2 lands, but no ability to actually, play ball here. This is going to 4. I will keep a bad hand on 4. Which is what I'm doing. So you're probably going back. One of these Raphaelis' gifts is going back, and Early Harvest is going back. This is most certainly worse than some of the other hands that I was working with earlier. Alright. So I'm gonna, like, use a Raphaelis' gift as a very, very strange card draw machine here. So I think I am just going to immediately sacrifice this to draw a card. We're going to hope to hit a land drop here. Let's kind of repeat this here. Taiga is weird, but just by the way, try to hit this land drop. How many lands are we playing? I thought it was like 19. I thought it was a pretty good number of lands. The 16. That might be sus. All right. So I'm going to take 1 damage here from this Dragon Rage Channeler. I am under... Yikes. I am under a lot of pressure. I am going to try and redraw for a land here. I do not think it is worth playing out the Allosaurus Shepherd to make this stuff uncounterable currently. I need mana. I hope I don't just bottom out this league because I don't have enough mana sources in the deck. So, like, if I'm at this few lands, maybe I am supposed to keep slightly mana-heavy hands when I see them. I need 2 to operate, I think. Some one-landers can be okay if they have a Utopia Sprawl, I guess. But, like, you don't want to be too land-heavy. Oh, okay. This is a lot. So that's the 3rd land type in Graveyard, so now any, like, sorcery is going to turn those things into real threats. I am not sure if I can win this game before my opponent, yikes, kills me one way or another. I do not think I have time to play Allosaurus Shepherd, and it would also just be disastrous if I get lightning bolted. So that probably just means I go for mana development here. But this is so bad. Yeah. I think if my opponent turns these into 3/3s, I am just going to concede rather than show my opponent more cards that are in my deck. Like, right now they know I'm Enchantress, but they don't know that I am also a Storm deck. They also don't know that I have these Allosaurus Shepherds. There's 3 card types in there. Yeah. I think that, like, with Uro coming back, and with these things presumably turning into creatures this turn, or not creatures, bigger creatures, I'm in pretty bad shape. Again, though, Taiga is kind of wild in the Daze deck. All right, what are you doing? Do you have like a Ponder as the follow-up? Yeah. Okay. I think I'm comfortable conceding there. Like, that's so much damage. I'm dead in 2 turns. Like, I take 6 this turn, then Uro comes back. Yeah. All right. How do I want to fight against my opponent? Like, because I'm going to have options. I can try to, like, get freebies off of something like Choke, but I think my opponent's going to get ahead on board a lot of times. I can try to play creatures like Endurance. That will make it harder for Uros to get into play, or, like, brickwall my opponent's creatures. But everything like Endurance that I board in is just going to be a card that makes it harder for me to actually combo off. I don't think I need to win the same turn most of the time versus this deck. I think the Tendrils is there mostly for decks like Doomsday, where you just, like, literally cannot afford to pass a turn. I also don't know, like, which piece of the combo is most expendable here. I'm guessing it's a Raphaelis' gift. I'm gonna junk that. That can give me Carpet and Choke. I think I can play the Choke on the play. I don't know that I can play it on the draw. Yeah, having 0 real games with this deck under my belt, I don't know how badly I need Endurance. I'm going to try to stay combo-oriented for this game and see how it goes. Yeah, this hand is fantastic. Absolutely. Okay, so opponent just had some kind words to say. So let's go ahead and play an Abundant Growth, just kind of cycle this. Nice. So I'm just hoping to resolve one of these two Argothian Enchantresses and then kind of do my thing from there. I don't quite have anything super impressive going on right now, but an Enchantress effect should fix that pretty quickly. And I absolutely will just go ahead and ram this into a daze. Like, I am fine with trading with both daze and force here, especially since I have two more Enchantress effects in hand. I can play more slowly this turn and put a Gaia's Touch in play this turn and then play Enchantress effects around daze next turn. But it's so good if I can just like get my thing going or if I can just draw a land. I don't want to give my opponent too much time because time results in me like taking more potential hits from Dragon Rage Channeler and friends. All right, so go ahead and play an Unbridled Growth, yield to this Enchantress. And now I'm off. Wow. I mean, absolutely. Like, I still cantrip off of that. So I'm very good with this equation. Yeah, sure. And Raphaelos' gift can get me some of this stuff back pretty easily. My opponent might be, like, just super aggressively using these things to try to select with Dragon Rage Channeler or get to the point where they can put a Murktide Regent into play. Now, this is fine. There's only one card type in there right now. Like, Brainstorm itself is an instant as well. So I'm pretty unlikely to get hit by, like, a 3 damage Dragon Rage Channeler this turn. It can happen with, like, Fetch Land into Ponder or... Well, no, right? Because, like, they just milled Volk. They could Ponder pretty easily for 1, but then they'd have to, like, Ponder, hit a creature, or a Bobble, or a Tarfire, or something. Okay, I think I'm just taking 1 this turn, and I think... my opponent didn't miss a land drop. They've dazed twice in a row. That's all fine with me. So, I think I'm just going to go ahead and get my other Enchantress effect into play this turn. Alright, there's a Force of Will. Okay, we got an Expressive Iteration for it, which is totally reasonable. Ooh, Nimble Mongoose is in the deck. Spicy. Okay. If I have 2 Raphaelos' gifts, I'm absolutely fine firing off 1 right now. Alright. I pay a green for this. Oh, multiple Force of Wills. So they pitched a Brainstorm and an Expressive Iteration there. That's fine. So this is a 3/3 right now. I'm not super concerned with that, though. Yeah, you can absolutely just Lightning Bolt me. So they are just trying to clear the... Ooh, wow, Dress Down. Okay, that's something I would not have been playing around. I don't know to what extent I can play around that as well. Alright. Nice. Alright. So, land drop. Gaia's Touch. This is essentially a free card. Maybe I shouldn't have played that this turn. Alright, let's see where this goes. We'll go ahead and reveal 2 green cards. That lets me return these 2 things to hand. I think I am just going to go ahead and play Argothian Enchantress this turn, and then try to go off, so to speak, next turn. I could try to keep going now, but I'd rather just wait and do this with more mana. And end the festivities is kind of scary. Like, I don't... Like, if my opponent might have one of those in the sideboard, right? Alright, Ponder is fine. I don't know whether or not I'm supposed to play Enchantress's Presence immediately, or if I just, like, start playing cards. I think I am just going to start playing cards. Let's Unbridled Growth. Oh, I can make my stuff uncounterable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. I can just play Allosaurus Shepherd into Aeve. Eve, whatever. Is that just my line? I'm at 7. I don't know how long I am supposed to sandbag this for. I didn't draw any additional lands, which was really one of the things that I wanted here. Oh, I guess I can just sacrifice this immediately. Okay, a Gaia's Touch is just another free card. This isn't legendary or anything, right? Yeah. This is just free. Early Harvest, okay. So I will sacrifice one of these, go up to 3 mana, cast Early Harvest, target me, untap all this stuff. Okay. Now I'm going places. So I do this. I will use this ability, put a forest into play. I have 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. So I can cast a 2-drop here. Sacrifice this. I guess I can draw my card with this first. Okay, yeah. 3 mana. Untap all my lands. 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. So I can do a 3 mana thing. Cast Enchantress's Presence. Draw 3 cards. Okay, okay. Alright. Untap all my lands with an Early Harvest. Play a Utopia Sprawl. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. 29 cards remaining in library. Yeah, I think I'm officially in, like, I am a rocket ship territory now. If I use my 0 ability, I have used my 0 ability here. I'm just going to go ahead and sacrifice this then. I'll play a land drop, use some floating mana, play one of these, yield to that, make some green, play a choke. Alright. Play one of these growth thingies. Alright, at this point, maybe I just go ahead and make my storm stuff. Storm count is 14. I can go deeper here. This seems fine. Alright. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, this is okay. I think I can comfortably end the turn here. I'll discard some stuff. I can also just, like, go off again with Raphaelos or another Eve or something. I'm not... yeah, that should be sufficient. I thought so, too. Yeah. Yeah, that was cool. I enjoyed that. The opponent can kill me with land drop double lightning bolt, but they physically can't do that because, like, I played a choke so that they can't untap that land. Alright. Attack. Okay, that was cool. So now the question is, like, do I want to play some number of Endurance when I am on the draw so that I have more time versus a Dragon Rage Channeler? I think it's reasonable on the draw to play some number of those. I think Choke becomes unreasonable on the draw. I'm also not sure if I should play Allosaurus Shepherd. Like, now my opponent knows that their, like, bolt type effects are going to be better than normal, because, like, they've seen that now. Like, I could go down on some of that. I think I'm going to play the full playset of Endurances, so that I need to cut 3 other cards. I'm going to cut an Early Harvest. I'll cut 1 Gaia's Touch. And 1 Allosaurus Shepherd. Like, I absolutely like Allosaurus Shepherd. But I'm worried about cutting too many enchantments. I could also just cut 2 Allosaurus, or 2 Early Harvest and keep this. Like, I don't need to storm off fully. Like, if I play 2 or 3 cards and then one of these, that'll often just be good enough on its own. Yeah. Okay. I think I just keep this hand. I think this hand just plays a couple of Endurances to get me through the early game, and then I'll put together some Storm bullshit later at some to-be-determined point. Like, Gaia's Touch is already a free card for this. I really did not want to draw that. But, like, I guess it lets me hit land drops, so, like, I guess that's fine at the end of the day. Yeah, I'll potentially just use next turn to Gaia's Touch, like, go Forest, Gaia's Touch, and then cheat the Dryad Arbor in play. And then in future turns, I can play Endurance around Daze. Alright, do you have a creature as a follow-up? No. Okay, cool. Also, if my opponent boards in a bunch of, like, Flusterstorm-esque cards that are meant to deal with Storm, and then I just beat them to death with 2 Endurances, like, that's a pretty good juke on my end. Alright, did that Ponder keep? Yeah, that did not shuffle. Another Gaia's Touch. Cool. Alright, so I will play a Gaia's Touch. I can only activate this as a sorcery. Oh, it is a basic forest card. Oh, F. I should have played Dryad Arbor and then activated Gaia's Touch to put in my basic forest. Okay. Small blunder on my turn, on my terms, that will cost me a mana next turn. I'm not under any pressure currently, so, like, that's not the end of the world. But it could keep me from doing something like playing an Aeve next turn. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. Am I just gonna chill? Man, I wish I had realized that this was basic forest and not forest. That's the difference between me playing around Daze and not. I think I'm just gonna kind of chill this turn, kind of cycle this card, see if that gets me to more land drops. It gets me to a Carpet of Flowers. Carpet is dope right now. And I would be totally good with exhausting a bunch of my opponent's resources, like fighting over this stuff, and then just have, like, Endurances and Aves left over. Okay, yeah, this was good enough to get a Force. Alright, so I will just play Dryad Arbor here and call it a turn. I could Endurance my opponent now, but I play that into Daze in a way that I super don't like. I don't know if my opponent is playing Murktide Regions because they're playing things that want to have the cards in the graveyard. They're playing Nimble Mongoose, like, and Uro and Dragon Rage Channeler. But, like, Murktide is the big reason why I would want to Endurance. And then a bunch... Sorry, Murktide is the reason I would want to Endurance, and then everything else is a reason why I would want to potentially just wait. Okay, yeah, there's an Uro. I will absolutely mop that up with an Endurance. Force of Will from my opponent will be pretty good. Ooh, my Dryad Arbor is alive. Nice. Alright. Land drop. I'm gonna go ahead and just attempt a sorcery speed Endurance here. Okay, it has gotten countered. I think that probably means this is good enough to sacrifice the Gaia's Touch and do again. Yeah, let's do that. Alright. Second Endurance. Nice. And I'll attempt to nuke my opponent's graveyard. Success, and I will hit in for 4. I can do a baby Eve next turn, right? Just play Gaia's Touch and then create 2 bodies. I don't know that I want to do that, but, like, it's a thing that I can do. I wanted that Carpet of Flowers to resolve last turn so that I could do, like, very cute things with that. Okay, yeah, there's an End the Festivities, making it a little harder for me to do my thing. Oh! I mean, that's a good combination. Okay. So I can return 2 enchantments. I can return, like, Carpet, Gaia's Touch, or Unbridled Growth Carpet. Absolutely. So let's play this. I reveal 2 green cards. I think I'm going to do Carpet, Unbridled Growth. Okay. So attempt Carpet. Go to main phase 2. Use Carpet ability, yes. Use green. Play Gaia's Touch. Storm count is 3. I think this is good enough that I just, like, pull the trigger here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Play Unbridled Growth first. Sacrifice it. Wish I had an extra mana here. But this is fine, right? Like, storm count is 5. Nice. I think this is good enough. Like, this is, what, 6, 11, 15, 18, 20 power. We have gotten the GGs. Let's go, Monocrene Enchantress Storm. What a match. Super happy with this hand. Absolute keep. I have 3 mana on turn 2, which means Allosaurus Shepherd into Argothian Enchantress. I hope my Wild Growth doesn't get, like, dazed on turn 1. Alright, more Delver. Alright, land drop. Wild Growth. I am willing to just, like, run this into the daze here. Because, like, I do want to get ahead on mana. Like, there's a lot of instances where I play an Allosaurus Shepherd, and then it just, like, immediately gets lightning bolted or something. Okay. I think I will slow my roll now. This is slightly less mana efficient than some other lines that I have. Like, if I play the Wild Growth before the Allosaurus Shepherd, I can, like, get 1 more mana out of this turn. But I think this is good. I'm presuming my Allosaurus Shepherd is going to get removed from play in some capacity in the next turn or 2 here. I'm at 14. Alright, Raphaelis' Gift is not bad. I can get cheeky and try to get a point of combat damage in with this. I don't know that I actually want to do that. Yeah, I'm in the same situation where I can try to be mana efficient, or I can try to maximize value from my cards. What I think is going to happen here is Allosaurus Shepherd is going to get lightning bolted, and then my opponent is going to Force of Will Argothian Enchantress. Alright, yep. Alright, and that indeed is what's happening. Now, I think I do just want to put this in play, despite the fact that I'm not going to draw a card off of it, and I could draw a card off of it later. Playing around the daze effects feels pretty important right now. Like, between Enchantress's Presence and Raphaelis' Gift, I have a very good ability to go and just draw a crap ton of cards. The thing that I have to worry about is just, like, dying to this onboard Delver, because, like, I just get set back 1 too many turns. Alright, there's a win condition. So here's my attempt at Enchantress's Presence. I will play an Unbridled Growth. I really just want to draw a land here, more so than anything else, and that's kind of a land. Now, I really need to storm off, I think, next turn, or I just, like, start getting into the situation where, like, my opponent is just going to kill me even if I produce a bunch of stuff. Like, I'm at 8. Like, I'm in the range where, like, Lightning Bolt starts to be spooky. Okay, yeah, absolutely. 3 card. Ooh. That's a Tendrils. Alright, see where this goes. Well, Wild Growth, draw a card. An Enchantress. I'm taking 4 damage this turn. So I'm dead in 2 turns. Now, I can try to Tendrils combo next turn. Or I can try to do, like, Raphaelis' Gift this turn. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Or actually, so I should cast the Raphaelis' Gift while this card is still in my hand. Or no, that doesn't matter, right? Yeah, that doesn't matter. So I will go ahead and cast this now. I will cast a Raphaelis' Gift. Reveal both my green cards. Scoop up 2 green cards. I am going to play the Wild Growth to set myself up better for next turn. Oh wow, a daze. Sure, they're probably just trying to flip that effectively. Okay, sure. Land. Do I just play Allosaurus Shepherd? It potentially blocks this on the ground. I can also just get a Dryad Arbor. Dryad Arbor doesn't look great into onboard Wasteland, though. I could also just play Unbridled Growth. Yeah, I think I will just do that. So let's go ahead and Unbridled Growth. Found the Dryad Arbor. All right, so I need to dodge Lightning Bolt plus Dragon Rage Channeler flipping this turn. Okay, that's a Brainstorm. So they've got land instant sorcery in there. So they probably need to hit a creature in order to flip that. That's fine. Okay, they did. So now I can be dead to Lightning Bolt. If my opponent does not have the Lightning Bolt, I think I'll win in a lot of cases. Not all cases, but a lot of cases. It seems like they have it. All right, they have it. Such is life. All right, so we've already basically played against this. So I want Endurance and Carpet of Flowers. And I think I went down on early harvest. I think I got rid of the tendrils, and I think I am okay with continuing that. And what did I do beyond that? Did I shave an Alice? No, I think I kept all the Allosaurus Shepherds. Maybe I shaved one of these? Or maybe I shaved 3 early harvests? Maybe I shaved 3 early harvests. Rationalizing that a smallish Eve is good enough. Is this hand acceptable? It has a lot of redraws and kind of 2 mana. Does not have an Enchantress effect. I think I'm okay keeping this. This hand is not fantastic. Just like full disclosure here, this hand is not fantastic. Okay. That's like getting one of my land drops, Force of Willed. That feels very bad. But I have some ability to just like churn through my deck, hopefully. So let's hope to do some Abundant Growth shenanigans, and I fail at that. Not a great situation for me. Oh, geez. That's a lot of pressure and a lot of selection. Okay. I really need to hit some land drops here. I think my opponent would be correct in, like, dazing basically anything here. Okay, cool. Alright, so I'll have both of these Abundant Growthed. Alright. Now I'm okay. I am under a lot of pressure, but hopefully I can resolve an Endurance and take a lot of this pressure off. Alright. I think it is worth doing this, like so. I lose out on 1 mana this turn, but get an extra card. Guess maybe I'll put that there, technically. Alright. So then, next turn, I can try to play an Endurance around a Daze, which I would be pretty happy with. Force of Negation on a Wild Growth. Sure. Alright. Now, there are some worlds where I do end up, like, pitch casting an Endurance to save a bunch of points of life. But I don't think I'm on board with doing that as of right now. Like, it's worth 4 life, but I think the Endurance, generally speaking, will be worth more than that. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go ahead and take this turn, and then I'll just, like, play Endurance as a real card next turn. Okay. So, timing. I'm just going to pass the turn. And then cast an Upkeep Endurance after this Delver of Secrets trigger resolves. Draw step? Do I let them have that blue card in hand? No, I don't think I do. So, I don't think I want to wait and try to ambush something in combat, because the risk of them just, like, wandering into a Murktide Regent or something like that and just, like, really pulling ahead is just, like, absolutely horrifying to me. Like, I can potentially get more value by waiting, but this feels like the point where if I didn't play around Murktide Regent, I would absolutely lose the game to Murktide Regent. Submerge. This is going to put this on top of my deck. I'm just going to get to redraw it. Does that matter, though? I just take so much this turn. Now do I have to wait and do it in combat? Block Delver. Block Delver, take 2. I hate that I'm not using my extra mana. I'm also just dead to Lightning Bolt at any point. Let's see if they have another Force of Will. I guess I also could have considered, yeah, they do. I also could have considered lines where I did a pitch cast on this and then like used my mana for other things. But I am just dead to Delver doing Delver things here. GG's. Okay, what is this? Round 3. My hand is essentially all mana here. I think I just have to mulligan. I have no gas. This hand is reasonable. So I get a choice of either keeping my third land drop in a deck that's land light or keeping an effective second copy of Argothian Enchantress. That's tough. I think I'm going to keep the land drop. Like, I have Green Suns and Enchantresses presence to all hit. Okay. Oh, please just moon me. Please just moon me. Like, I am fine with that. I'm less good with a turn 1 Goblin Rabblemaster was going to be what I just said there, because that's a hell of a clock. So I have to work towards like Aeve to stabilize the board as quickly as possible. And that might mean playing a suboptimally sized one to just take this body off of the table. Trinisphere, oh fuck. Trinisphere becomes pretty rough for me. Chalice is pretty good too. I've got a couple of Force of Vigors and Abrupt Decays in the sideboard to kind of help out with this stuff. But as you can see, this is a lot of damage. So I can play... yikes. I can play Argothian Enchantress. There'll be 2 more goblins in play. So this will get plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 damage. Yeah, I'm just dead to double goblin start here. Holy shit. Like, I can play an Argothian Enchantress to chump block and live a turn, but that doesn't get me anywhere towards actually winning. Just run the fuck over there. Okay, so I could play Endurances to block against these goblins. I don't know how correct it is to do so. I need Force of Vigor. I'll probably play Seal. Abrupt Decay and Endurance are playable. Like, the thing about Abrupt Decay is that it requires me to use black mana, which I'm not going to have super early. Is 3 things that answer Chalice and Trinisphere enough? I'm probably boarding out Tendrils. I'm probably boarding out an early harvest. I will... Actually, Chalice is not super good against me because of these. No, it isn't. Huh. Maybe that means I don't have to board in Decay. And I can, like, maybe board in some Endurances that are just blockers. I don't know, they're, like, not great blockers, right? Because, like, Goblin Rabblemaster will power through it. Still die to, like, a Chandra minus. I need these. Feel pretty confident about that. I'm less confident in, like, how much of this stuff I need. I'm going to try to submit like this and just see how another game goes. Land Utopia Sprawl. Land Gaia's Touch. Have 6 mana. Be able to make Stormy's 2 Aeve tokens. This isn't really great. I'm gonna try to do better here. Okay. This is a keep. The question here is, do I pitch Dryad Arbor? I don't think I do. I think I pitch one of these. I don't know, this cantrips for Gothian Enchantress. I don't know. I think that second land drop matters a lot in many worlds. So let's get my mana ramping and see how bad this is. Alright. Am I getting chaliced? Am I getting Rabble Mastered? Yeah, I'm just getting Rabble Mastered. Alright, I'm on a clock. So I play an Enchantress. And then I think I will just go ahead and work towards having more mana next turn. So green. And I have sort of the start of being able to, like, go off and make some large Eves. Like, I can early harvest next turn, and, like, that allows me to cast it, but I really need some stuff to play with it. So, like, the dream would be to chain a couple things together, then play early harvest and Eve. I might need to wait one more turn. This is just, like, so much damage, though. I am not really prepared to beat turn 1 Goblin Rabblemaster. Like, that's just not something I'm ready for. Sure. Alright, let's, I guess, see what I can make of this. This is really a draw 2. Let's sacrifice this. I get a land drop here. So if I early harvest, I have 8 total mana afterwards. Okay. Oh, hold on, did I count that correct? So I go with 1 floating, so it's 2, 4, 5. No, it's 6 total mana. Okay. I mean, I think I'm just doing it. I think I just need to play this turn. So I will play a very sad Raphaelos' Gift, in which I only get to get back 1 card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And play Aeve. So these are decently sized. Hopefully this buys me enough time. Like, I don't know that this wins me the game, because my opponent has a fair amount of power on board. But this makes it so that I'm not just immediately terrified of dying. Man, the game on the play is going to be so hard. Or rather, the game where they are on the play is going to be so hard is what I meant. In good news, my opponent takes some pretty real losses here with this attack. Alright. So, block with my 5/5 here. And do one of these things. A Fiery Confluence would be pretty bad for me. But that would kind of be pretty bad regardless, right? Ah, it is a Fury. I can lose, like, this one and this one, junking my 2 biggest creatures. Yeah. That's okay. Like, I've walled the Goblin Rabblemaster, which is kind of what I care about for right now. Let's try to draw some cards. Like, this is a draw 2. I need any enchantment. Okay, so I can keep going. The Wild Growth. Okay, Gaia's Touch is actually pretty reasonable here, right? Hello. So, play a land drop. Activate this. Put in a land drop. Storm is 3. I have 5 available to just do this. So I guess I can go ahead and attack with both of these and then do this stuff post-combat. Okay. Crash in for 5. Opponent goes to 11. Then I'll sacrifice this. And ooze again. Nice. Just very nice. Yeah, the storm count doesn't have to be too high to get an Aeve kill. Alright, do I want Endurances on the draw? Like, it's a 3 mana play that blocks Goblin Rabblemasters and Legion War bosses. I'm very worried about just, like, dying on the draw. Maybe I go the Early Harvest is out and put a couple into the deck. Sort of interestingly, I have not seen a Chalice or Trinisphere type card from my opponent yet, which may mean that some of my Force of Vigor type cards aren't as good. So, like, that's a thing to be considering as well. Like, they've like, gotta be in there, right? I have an Enchantress effect and some card, like, redraw ability. I think this hand's okay. Again, though, like, just if my opponent, like, turn 1 Goblin Rabble-Masters for the 3rd time in a row, it's very scary for me. Okay, this is fine. Like, with an Argothian Enchantress, my 1-drops will still draw me a card, with the exception of Raphaelos' Gift. That won't do that anymore. And Gaia's Touch means that I can build Storm pretty easily and, like, accumulate mana for an Aeve if I am able to draw one. Alright. Trinisphere. Sure. Like, I am okay with this currently. I can stockpile mana over a few turns with a Gaia's Touch. Like, oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. So, like, I'll play my Enchantress effect here, and I can just keep making land drops, start drawing cards, put extra lands into play with Gaia's Touch, even. Okay, so here's my opponent's, like, Goblin Rabblemaster type threat. Okay, I'm happy it's that one rather than the actual Goblin Rabblemaster. Alright. Land drop. 3 mana. Gaia's Touch. I'll activate it. Put a forest into play. Could junk a Gaia's Touch and play a new Gaia's Touch and just get another card draw. I think I'm okay with that. Like, I don't need the other card. Nice. My 1-drops can be real cards again. Is it worth playing Allosaurus Shepherd this turn to be able to use these other cards as real cards? Unsure. Let's say yes. It helps me get through a potential mana bottleneck because of Trinisphere by like making my Utopia Sprawls good, and then I can use Raphaelos' Gift to return these Gaia's Touches. All I need to do is probably beat this Legion War boss that's in play. I'd like to just find an Endurance or an Eve, and then I can just like do that. Yep. War Boss is a slightly slower clock than Goblin Rabblemaster, but it's still a slowly expanding clock. Like it's a reasonable threat here. Ooh, okay. They can keep playing cards. There's an Eve. It's hard for me to do multiple spells currently. So I'll 3 mana, play a Utopia Sprawl. Now, Stomp could technically kill my Allosaurus Shepherd and do some things that I would be sad about here. Or do I just return Gaia's Touches here? Play Raphaelos' Gift, return 2 of those. Those end up costing me 1 mana, but are a way that I can realistically make multiple tokens. I think I will do that. All right. Raphaelos' Gift, reveal some cards, earn some Gaia's Touches. Not a flash red creature that I'm worried about. I'm never blocking. Take my 1 damage there. Yeah. So like I basically need to hit a land drop, right? Like that's the big thing that I need. Need to hit a land drop so I can like chain a couple Gaia's Touches together, play Eve, and solidify my board. This is a lot of damage. But like I can use these 2 creatures as chump blockers in addition to my oozes if need be. Kind of worried about what's in my opponent's hand because they just like passed the turn without playing anything last time around. The second Trinisphere. That's okay. All right, so this is 6 mana. So I can go down to 3, play a Gaia's Touch. That's what I'm looking for. So I make my land drop. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is not super impressive. Oh, wait, hold on. This is 6 mana, right? So I can play another Gaia's Touch. Yes, I can play another Gaia's Touch. All right, I really wanted to draw like a forest there. That's okay. So 2, 4, 5, Eve. Not the biggest ones in the world, but they matter. I guess I attack for 1. I could sit here and like really analyze this, but I think I'm just going to take my 1 point of damage. I just like really can't afford to trade off Allosaurus Shepherd in combat right now when I have 5 1-drops in hand. All right, so here we go. All right, just the 1 is coming into play. I think I just block it with the 2/2. I don't want to lose both of these creatures to Fury, which happens if I block with any other one of those. Okay, that's just the turn. Cool. So I'm just going to do the things that start increasing my mana as my starting point here. Okay, or Utopia Sprawl, that's totally fine. That means I can just keep firing off spells. Play a new Utopia Sprawl. All right. There's another critter for next turn. I want to play another Allosaurus Shepherd so that my stuff can't be randomly countered. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana next turn. None of this stuff gives me actual mana. I could Raphaelos' Gift and return double Gaia's Touch. Returning double Gaia's Touch is probably pretty good. Lets me make the most out of drawing multiple lands. I'll reveal a couple of green cards here. Return 2 Gaia's touches. And I'm not going to take any chances with attacks here. I am just going to make some large oozes next turn and kind of call that good. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana. Essentially down to 8, down to 7. Yeah, I can make some respectable oozes. As long as I draw a land somewhere in there. I think this is going to be pretty good. Alright, so we have some movement on the other side. For a Fury, sure. I'm guessing that's going to be the Allosaurus Shepherd and the 3-drop? Yeah. Not the 3-drop, the 3-power one. Okay, looks like everybody's coming in. Sure, so one of those will get larger. I'll kill you. Kill you. I take 5. And then I will have plenty of power to block the rest of this stuff, but I'll die to a stomp. Not a lot to be done about that here. I just kind of have to say okay to that. I could chump block with an Argothian Enchantress. Don't know that I'm really on board with that, though. A lot of Gaia's touch. So just confirming 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The rule is start with the things that have this on it already. Play a new Gaia's touch. Go and just activate one of these. Put a forest into play. Play a new Gaia's touch. 2, 4, 6, 7. So I can sacrifice a Gaia's touch that I've used. Play a new Gaia's touch. Sacrifice. Triple Gaia's touch. Play Eve. Create a good number. Oh shit. I thought I was going to attacks. And I was clicking on the one that I wanted to attack with. That was quick clicking on my part. I don't know whether or not I clicked on the correct one. Fine with this. Yes, I should be fine with that. I do have to get my opponent dead at the end of the day. I'm already dying to a Bone Crusher Giant or equivalent card to the face. Do they have it? What is costing them life? Apostle's Blessing? Well, that's fucking wild. Wow. I'm like not mad. More confused. Alright, GG's. Did not really expect to lose from there, except to direct damage to the dome. Like Bone Crusher Giant or Chandra. Hey folks, if you've made it this far in the video, you're probably enjoying my content. Please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel if you aren't already subscribed. You know what they say, a subscriber a day keeps the mimics away. Alright, I'm keeping my opening hand here. Kind of the big question is, like, do I want a Dryad Arbor on turn 1, or do I want Green Sun to be a redundant Enchantress for if my opponent is playing a counter spell? Unsure as of right now. Like, luckily I will get to see one of my opponent's lands before I have to make that decision, and I'll also get another draw. Opponent did mulligan to 6, by the way. Okay. So we are playing against some sort of affinity or painter type deck list. I'll probably find out more or less immediately. Retract. Return all artifacts you control to their owner's hands. Go on? Like, are you gonna empty the Warrens me? What is this nonsense? Opal doesn't have Metalcraft. Okay. Brain Freeze? Who is this targeting? Targeting themselves. What the fuck? Is this like an Echo of Eons? Yeah, this is gonna be like a weird ass Echo of Eons Storm deck. Paradoxical outcome? Okay. Now that I have another one, this is 100% a Green Sun for a Dryad Arbor. And we'll see what my opponent can do on their turn. Like there's echoes in there so that like they can echo. Alright, I am very happy that I'm going to get some nonsense into play here. Do I want 1 point of damage or do I want this to turn into an Enchantress. I think I want this to turn into an Enchantress. Like, I've got the mana to just do this now. Yeah. I haven't seen counterspells over there yet. So, like, I'm not... Like, I don't know that, like, seeing what I'm seeing over there, that they're going to have the ability to have counterspells in that deck with all the combo pieces that they need. Yeah, this is kind of wild. If at all possible, I would like to just put a crappy clock into play and kill my opponent with it. Like, it does not need to be a large Eve, but I want to get an Eve into play ASAP. I think it takes me 2 turns to do it, though. Like, I have 4 mana next turn. Well, like, what is this? Exile a card from your hand face down. You may look at it for as long as it remains exile. Return a card you exiled with this. You lose control of this. Put all cards exiled with it into their owner's graveyard. Okay, so they can just use this to store cards, like, prior to echoing. And this is just another way to help them get early Metalcraft for Mox Opal. Wild. Absolutely wild. Okay, I just want another Enchantress in play. Or do I want to be able to chain Wild Growths together if I draw multiple? I think I'm just going to take the other Enchantress in play. So then I do this, 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 and I get a draw 2 off it. Early harvest. That'll be good next turn. Actually. Or no, I only have 2 mana right now. Cast Unbridled Growth first. Alright, I found a land drop. I've already made my land drop though, right? Yeah, I've already made my land drop. I'm not gonna crack that now. I'm just gonna leave that in hand. And I'll play an Allosaurus Shepherd. I don't know how my opponent wins yet. I can see that they can draw a lot of cards. But I don't know how they, like, truly win. Like, do they just brain freeze me eventually? Like, brain freeze yourself first so that you can echo, and then, like, brain freeze me after an insane turn of just going up, down, up, down, up, down with paradoxical outcome? My Gaddock Teague is going to be pretty reasonable. My Collector Oop is going to be... Oh, yeah, okay, so that's bouncing their lands, so they're going... Oh, and the Retract can return the stuff from that Scepter. That's cute. I'm going to have a lot of I'm going to have so many fucking sideboard cards for this matchup, like, holy shit. Like... yeah, I might just end up playing, like, a pretty fair Enchantress deck for these post-sideboard games. Yeah? I mean, Storm Count's 8. Like, they're going. Like, if they can brain freeze, this adds up really quickly, right? Like, this is already, like, 33 cards. Okay, yeah, there's a PO. Yep. Artifacts go in, artifacts go out. Phil waits to see if he's dead. I have to give my opponent, like, one more turn if one of us isn't dead here, because I can just, like, make my Eve this turn, and then I need one more turn to kill them. Unless I can get a storm kill, which is possible. Okay, sure. Retract is an instant, right? Yeah, Retract is an instant. I can get into some really weird Force of Vigor situations. Okay, so they've got 7 cards in hand, but they went back many land drops this turn. Alright. Land. So I'm just going to sacrifice this immediately. I'd like to just find a nice 1-drop here. I think I'm going to have to lean on early harvest, getting stuff to work here. I'm going to play Enchantress's Presence. This gives me a couple redraws to find things like Gaia's Touch. Nice. Okay. So, I'll play an a Wild Growth. Nice. This leaves me with 3 mana. But this card is free. I can play that. Do my draw 3. Activate this ability. Put this into play. Do this. This is game 1 still. I can play towards drawing Tendrils pretty easily. I can Utopia Sprawl here. My permanents keep jumping around in a way that I, like, very much do not enjoy. I'll name black with this. So sacrifice Gaia's Who's He What's It. Play this and untap all my basic lands. I'm going to attempt to find my tendrils. I might not be able to. I have a lot of card draw, though. Yeah, I think it's okay for me to go one deeper here. I'll go ahead and Utopia Sprawl. Green. Go ahead and tap this wild growth here. So now I'm looking for an untapper. Okay, I found an untapper. So go ahead and do this. Activate this. Put in one of these. Sacrifice this for a green. So like I very much have tendrils already. I'm gonna go ahead and untap my stuff a time or two here though, just to like make sure I have a little bit extra in case my opponent does randomly have a counter spell. Play an Allosaurus Shepherd. Now I've got some extra. Tendrils you. Hey! We are both on some crazy storm stuff over here. Good stuff. Alright. I like Mindbreak Trap. I like Gaddock Teague. I like Collector Oof. I like Seal. I like Force of Vigor, and Endurance is not crazy either. So, how do I board if I want to board in at least 7 cards and probably more? I probably just board to be an Enchantress deck. Like, I board out Early Harvest, I board out the Tendrils, I probably board out Raphelos' Gift. That, as a starting point, gives me all of this, and I just, like, try to survive to the point where I can cast an Aeve with a storm count of just, like, 3 or something like that, and that kills my opponent. I don't know whether or not my opponent has counter magic. I think I'm going to leave Allosaurus Shepherd in. Like, I don't think they had counter magic in game 1, but, like, it would make sense that they're bringing something like that in for game 2. Yeah, I think I just want these to kill my opponent with... I don't know. Maybe I go down. I keep 2 Allosaurus Shepherds in the deck. Then I effectively have 4 because I have 2 Green Suns for them. Keep? I think this is a keep. It's a weird looking keep. But I think it's a keep. Uh-huh. 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 Mindbreak Trap is on for an Echo, by the way. Uh-huh. Okay, there's done. That's fine. I don't think I want to Force a Vigor or anything they've got going on over there yet. I think I'll just play this out as a card that I can take as a redraw when I need to. Sure. Okay. Metalcraft has been achieved. Alright, that's just the turn. Now I can start thinking about Force of Vigoring like a land and an LED or something like that. Don't know if I need to. Force of Will. Sure. Okay, so they do have counter magic. Alright, so they're going with exiling a Monastery Mentor. Okay. Do I Force of Vigor like this and the LED in upkeep? How does this work? You lose control of this, but all cards exiled it. Oh, into their owner's graveyard. Oh, but you can tap it to put it into your hand. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. This is weird. Alright, I've made it another turn. I think I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice this, try to hit my 3rd land drop here. Did not succeed. I can play out a Gaia's Touch, and then I can get one into play next turn. Alright, what are you putting in hand? Another Mentor. Wow. I really kind of just want to junk this LED in the land or the LED in the Scepter. My Mindbreak Trap isn't going to stop an Echo that's drawn currently. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I think I'm going to junk my opponent's mana. I'm 100% going for the LED, and then I'm not sure about the other one of these. I'm going to go for mana. Junking one of my Enchantress's presences. Force pitching Retract. Okay. Oh, I guess they can, like, crack LED and play out a Mentor, right? Is that how that works? Like, yeah, I guess that's how that works. Right? Crack LED, discard hand, play a Naked Mentor. Okay. 1, 2, 3 mana. Enchantress's presence. Alright, they are loading up the scepter. Narset. Okay. Narset's pretty good. Okay. They are going to play Narset here. Yeah, my Mindbreak Trap does not answer that. Okay. Sure. Okay, so Narset makes sense with Echo as a way to make it one-sided. Yeah, I wonder if I should have more aggressively gone after this card with the Force of Vigor earlier in the game. Yeah, that's fine. Yep. Like, I need a land here. That's kind of a land. So this means that I don't get to draw a card. I need blue to work towards his Mindbreak Trap being hard castable. And play Endurance next turn as a way to pressure the Narset. Alright, sure, you've got an LED. Alright, they're cracking LED. So that gives an Echo. The opponent has to cast multiple spells in order for my Mindbreak Trap to do what I want it to do. So I guess I will go ahead and do this. Takes an Enchantress's presence out of my deck, which I really don't want to draw right now. Alright, I have drawn just Force of Vigor. It is a respectable draw, but my opponent is very ahead here. And now I can't pressure this Narset anymore, and my opponent also probably doesn't have to play that. This is a crazy deck. Alright, so they're going to return a Mentor, sack the load. Oh, God. Okay. So now they're going to play out a bunch of artifact mana, get to a Mentor, play a handful more artifacts, and probably kill me next turn. This is wild. I wish I had some sort of, like, deafening silence effect. I also may need to, like, reevaluate how I've sideboarded, honestly. I want the Allosaurus Shepherds more now. And the Abrupt Decay has become a lot more interesting as well. Alright, there's the Mentor. And, this is honestly going to be pretty bad. So, like, this Mentor is going to just keep vomiting creatures everywhere. Opponent still has 5 cards in hand. You know, I think I can say with certainty that this is the best Gustha's Scepter deck I've ever seen. Okay, sure. Yeah, this might just be the point where I just concede. Like, my opponent's going to play multiple cards. I think I'm comfortable conceding here and going to the next game. So my Gaddock Teague is a little worse than I thought it was, right? Because it seems like my opponent has a bunch of 3-mana stuff that's actually going to be good. I think I'm going to board this out. I want these Allosaurus Shepherds back in. Do I want Endurance for the Brain Freeze nonsense? Like, they're not amazing. And play, like, I can put 1 into the deck so I can Green Sun for it, and then I can play a couple of Abrupt Decays to have answers to things like Monastery Mentor. Yeah, let's try this. Multiple Force of Vigors. No Enchantress stuff. That's awkward. I think if I keep the hand with hate cards and no real action, my opponent wins that battle. I think I'm going to mulligan this, and I'm going to mulligan this one as well, unfortunately. I'm going to 5. I think this favors my opponent here. I will keep 5 of these. This is turn 2 Collector Oof, just turn 1 Utopia Sprawl, turn 2 Green Sun. So Unbridled Growth goes back, and I don't think I'm ready for my finisher yet. Alright, land, Utopia Sprawl, and this early in the game, I will just go ahead and name green. So here I'm basically just hoping my opponent does not have Force of Will, because my hand becomes just so much worse if they do have Force. There's Ancient Tombs in there too. Alright. That's a blue mana. Okay. What's the issue? Are you trying to pay for, like, an Emery in a strange way? Yes, that is what's happening. Okay. Relative miss, but my opponent has Baubles in play that Emery can recycle already. So, like, I'm just hoping to dodge Force of Will plus blue card here. My opponent will have 5 cards in order to find those, though, because they get 2 redraws, assuming they use both redraws. There is a world where I play Enchantress's Presence prior to Green Sun. But I am scared of what my opponent's deck can do. So I am just going to go for the Green Sun immediately. F. I mean, I caused them to pitch a Narset, which I am good with. So now I only do have one more copy of Green Sun. So, like, I have the Green Sun and the Oof itself that I can draw. All right, yep. All right, so they're going to go for a Bobble again. And I assume they'll just kind of cycle both of those immediately and churn through some cards. An Enchantress's Presence on my end would be pretty good, but I think my opponent's situation is better than mine currently. Like, their thing that draws cards is already in play. Mine is not. And I think they draw cards faster than I do right now. Fuck. Alright, my situation is currently quite bad. Okay. I think I am dead. I think it takes 2 to 3 turns for me to physically die, but I think that is the point where I'm just not going to beat this anymore, because, like, my hate cards are no longer going to be crippling since the Monastery Mentor is in play. Yikes. Bonus deck is super fucking cool. Alright. Unbridled Growth, I'm just going to immediately sacrifice this, try to draw a card, and just get somewhere with this. I didn't really succeed. I expect to die next turn. I can die this turn in some circumstances if my opponent's hand is just, like, straight baubles or something. Or no, I guess only 2 creatures can attack this turn. Yeah, so I guess it is going to take until next turn for me to die, but I don't think I come back from this. Like, I'm already taking at least 7 here, unless I chump block with Allosaurus Shepherd, which is something... Oh my god, they're just force of willing to get another token and some more damage. Absolutely respect it. Good line. I don't really know what outs I have here. I'm just going to take the damage. Like, just ow. Just ow. Some good deck building over there. All right. I am quite dead here. GG's. Okay, I think I'm going to keep this opening hand. I Green Sun for Dryad Arbor on turn 1 so that I can play Enchantress's Presence on turn 2, and then I can draw a decent number of cards. I can now see that my opponent is mulliganing to 5. I don't really have a lot of game in game 1 versus an unfair combo deck, so I'm going to be hoping that my opponent isn't playing something like, say, Doomsday here. And, go get a Tree Friend. Hello, Tree Friend. Like, if this is just a bad start from, like, a Bant deck or something, this is just great for me. Do I want to play around a Daze versus this deck? I don't think Daze really matters. Is it better to play an Argothian Enchantress this turn rather than an Enchantress's Presence? Maybe. Yeah, I can get a draw off the Enchantress's Presence later. I'm gonna go ahead and play... Oh, okay, sure. That just, like, snap resolved. So I'll just kind of treat this as a draw 2. Don't need to take the second draw now. We could just be playing against a Show and Tell deck and we could die here. Okay. Uro, that's fine. I have so much time before an Uro matters to me. Okay, sure. All right. So, land drop. I think my sequencing is going to be Gaia's Touch to draw a card. And then I'll use this to put an extra land drop into play. Activate. Land drop into play. Uncounterable Allosaurus Shepherd. Fine with using this mana this turn? Probably. Let's sacrifice this first. Yes, okay. I think I can probably fully combo off next turn if I don't use the Gaia's Touch this turn. I think mana is probably too tight this turn for me to combo off now, so I'm just going to do this. I'm hoping to dodge, like, a blind Terminus here. That would be just absolutely savage. I'll still have an Enchantress's Presence afterwards, but, you know, like, it would be bad. So my opponent can do, like, a prismatic ending and get rid of an Allosaurus Shepherd or something. And then, like, their cards have text, but they don't... Oh. So I'm playing against Food Chain. Alright. Land drop. Enchantress's Presence. Draw a bunch of cards. Activate Gaia's Touch. Put this into play. Sacrifice this for 2 mana. Use 1 of that to play Raphaelos's Gift. Revealing 2 green cards. Returning both of these. I will play my Gaia's Touch first, since it is free. Okay, this is the sort of stuff that I was looking for. Alright, so I will now Wild Growth this forest. Yield to that. Ooh, I found my Tendrils. Hell yeah. Alright. 2 mana. Utopia Spiral here. I'll, like, name black with this. 3 mana. Early Harvest. Actually, have I activated this yet? No, I have not activated that yet. Put a forest into play. Enchant one of these. Name black with that. Cool. Early Harvest. Target me. That leaves a black floating. Play a Gaia's Touch. Activate it. Do this. I need to build my Storm a little still. Like, I have lethal, but, like, my opponent is at 22 and potentially could gain 3 more life. I'll just kind of do this sort of thing a couple times. Put an extra Allosaurus Shepherd into play just in case. Sacrifice one of those for really no reason. Do a Utopia Sprawl. Get some green. And I'll just, like, tap all my lands real quick. Target me. Untap this. Now I'm at enough that I can pretty comfortably Tendrils my opponent. Same targets. Alright, good stuff. Alright, what do I have versus Food Chain? Mindbreak Trap is pretty reasonable. Carpet of Flowers is pretty reasonable. It's just a question of, like, how much do I want to stay on being full combo and how much do I want to hate on my opponent's deck? Because every, like, Gaddock Teague type card that I put into my deck is a card that doesn't actually work towards winning me the game when I am trying to storm off, and, like, I'm very unsure about how much I should sideboard. Like, I can do Endurances to fight against Uros. Like, is that something that I actually want to do? Unsure. I need to keep the Tendrils in, because I think I have to win on the same turn some portion of the time, just because, like, Food Chain is such a threatening combo finish. I think I'm going to choke my opponent, though. I think I'm going to try to find room for 4 cards. Maybe go, like, down a Raphaelos's Gift, down an Early Harvest, down 1 random 1-drop, down 1 Allosaurus Shepherd? Question mark? Like, I'm happy to have 1. I don't really ever want 2, I don't think. Yeah, I think I keep this. Like, I have 2 dead cards, but my god, that is a really good 5-card hand. I don't really want my... Okay, so this stops me from using Green Sun. That's fine. Alright, so I will go land and Utopia Sprawl on green. Green. And then hopefully my opponent gets an island here of some kind. They do. Oh, that's a very strange timing for a Brainstorm. A very strange timing for a Brainstorm. What is that indicative of? Abundant Harvest, maybe? Like Brainstorm and then Abundant Harvest past the stuff? Nope, okay. Alright. If my opponent casts Force of Will, would I rather them Force of Will, Argothian Enchantress, or Choke? Choke. Accordingly, I will play Choke this turn. This also just has higher impact the sooner I play it. Okay, nice. So now I can try to... Oh, I can also just use Raphaelos's Gift to return it, right? Like, I could, like, if my opponent just, like, plays an Uro here off another island, I just, like, play Raphaelos's Gift and return Choke to my hand and replay it. Oh, tap out for Uro, baby. Eternal Scourge, sure. Alright. I have 4 mana. I can cast Wild Growth. And then still have 4 mana. Alright. I could also get my Carpet of Flowers involved this turn, but I kind of want to take a draw off of that. Alright, Wild Growth. 1 mana. Bellows' Gift. I've revealed one too many cards. It's whatever. I wasn't sure which one I clicked on already. Alright, 3 mana. I joke my opponent. And now all I have to do is beat this 3/3. I guess my opponent could have like some Prismatic Ending type cards that could eventually take out my choke, but this is probably pretty good for me. So 2 mana. Progenitor Enchantress. Or technically, I should be tapping the actually, maybe I don't want to tap like that in this exact situation. For if I draw one very specific card. I think I'm gonna go to my post combat main phase here and add my mana. Green mana. Unbridled Growth. I'll sack this immediately to draw a new card. This is a Raphelos's Gift. Am I fine just using this immediately as a weird draw card? Yeah. I will get my Unbridled Growth back. I'll just play this immediately as a draw 2. Nice. So 2 mana, Gaia's Touch. Activate. Put in a forest. Do I want to try to live the early harvest dream, or do I want to save that card for later? If I draw another enchantment off of this card, I get to kind of live the dream here. I think I'm going to go for the dream. Early harvest, target me. Oh, I guess I have 2 draws, right? Yeah, sacrifice this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Enchantress's Presence. Alright, that's a new Enchantress. Okay, decent turn. That's an okay point to fizzle. Yeah, I'll absolutely take 3 damage. And, alright. For the record, this is why the deck doesn't play too many lands. Like, I complained a little bit about not having enough lands at some points in this league, but, like, this is why you're not playing lands. It's because, like, once you're in this point where you're drawing multiple cards and you have multiple Enchantress effects in play, the only reason, like, the only way you stop is if you have all lands in hand. Or I guess Raphelos's Gift without any green cards also is kind of a stop point. Like, that's a thing, too. I'm at 11. Alright. I mean, I can just play this, and I can straight up just, like, activate this as a way to block that card. Like, this can be 6 mana. I have a 5/5 that can block. This is a weird game of Magic, by the way. I'm sure you've probably figured that out. Alright. So do you have, like, a Prismatic Ending that you're going to use on this Allosaurus Shepherd, or what? Okay, they do. Yeah, I'll take 3 more damage. They'll need another Prismatic Ending to answer this choke and get to kind of an acceptable amount of mana. I'm at 8. Fuck. Alright, land go. Alright, I'm taking 3 more. I'm at 5. Sometime pretty soon, I do have to start thinking about jump blocking. Alright, we've got something. A Walking Ballista. Alright. I really wanted to have, you know, say, an enchantment. An enchantment would have been pretty clutch. I now have to chump block Eternal Scourge, or I die. This is really 5 damage because the Walking Ballista can shoot at any point. Alright, I'll take my chump block there. And go to 4. I have to chump block Eternal Scourge every turn. Yeah. Yeah, sure. That's a little sad, I'm not gonna lie. But this keeps the Walking Ballista from attacking. I don't know. Maybe I'm supposed to just chump block again and then save this for 1 turn. But I think if I draw an enchantment, like, I get an Ancestral Recall for every... Yeah. I get an Ancestral Recall for every enchantment that I play. Alright. This is bad, because, like, this now represents, like, a Prismatic Ending that can do a lot of damage to me. I have to block here. I only get Divinations for my enchantments. Also, like, oh my god. Like, you're seeing this, YouTube. You're seeing this luck here. That's beyond disappointing. Like, that's how this league is going to end. Like, I am just going to have bricked on lands for... Or, sorry, I'm going to have bricked on enchantments for like 5 turns in a row. Yeah, I'm dead. What a absolute disappointment. Wow. I think I win that game more than 70% of the time. Like, it does not take much for me to, like, just absolutely go ham. And it's not like I over sideboarded. Like, I think I boarded in 4 cards, like 2 Mindbreak Traps, a Tendrils, and Carpet. Is my opponent still going to have the Food Chain combo in for this game where they're on the draw, or are they just going to, like, sideboard in as much interaction as they can and be super light on the actual combo? I think there's a very good chance that that's the case. If that's the case, I can probably bring a Shepherd back in and play a couple of Endurances so I don't just fall into that same situation of a couple of creatures just peck me to death. I think I'll go down 1 Early Harvest and play 3 Endurances. This leaves me a little softer to their combo than I might like, but is making me better versus the mid-rangey portions of their deck. That's no land. This is pretty good. I need to throw back either Raphaelis' Gift or Eve. Neither one really does anything right now. I think I'm going to throw back the Gift. I'm going to go, like, Allosaurus Shepherd into Enchantress, and then hopefully have either a 3rd land or 1-mana enchantments that I can play that have meaningful text. I'm happy that I have this 1-up Choke again. Like, it puts a lot of strain on my opponent's mana base. Like, for example, yeah, like, this is exactly the sort of strain that I was talking about. If they want to answer the, like, Swords of Plowshare so that they can Force of Will a potential 2-drop, then they really can't get something like a Tundra. That would give them, like, blue and white to allow them to easily cantrip and then fetch the next turn. Like, I'm absolutely quietly getting some value here that I am a huge fan of. And in almost every circumstance, I will just immediately jam this Choke on my next turn. All right. That is the Griffin Machine. So if you haven't seen that card before, you search your library for 3 cards, exile them, and then draw a card. All right, Choke is very good here. And I have Raphaelis' Gift, so I can potentially just get it back. If it were to have gotten countered there. It did not. Now I just want to draw enchantments. Okay, Hierarch is totally solid for them. I said now I just want to draw enchantments. Do I just play this as a distraction here? I think I just play this as a distraction. Like, I'm totally fine trading that for a Swords to Plowshares if my opponent has one. So if my opponent does end up having the Food Chain, I'm very likely to lose to it. I am fine with Choke having been like a 3-mana permanent Rishadan Port if that's all it does, but if it does any more than that, like, it's great for me. Alright, that is a Food Chain. So my opponent can go to 3 mana, get an Eternal Scourge. I'm just going to straight up ask my opponent if they have a kill this turn. I've told my opponent that I will concede to a Ballista for X = 1. Okay, there's the Walking Ballista. Absolutely fine, not making my opponent click through that. GG's. And that brings us to a close at a 1-4 in this league, which really felt like a 2-3 to me. Like, I feel like we win that match versus Enchantress so frequently. Overall thoughts on the deck list. This was really fun. Like, I just straight up enjoyed playing this. Like, obviously, like, you're trying to play Mono Green Storm, right? Like, this is kind of a quirky, crazy idea to start with. So, like, you know, the power level is going to be medium, but, like, I had a lot of fun playing this. I don't know how to tell the donor to improve the deck because I'm not familiar with enchantments that sacrifice themselves well enough to, like, know for sure, like, oh, there's this thing that could go into the deck and make it better. Here's what I'll say having played this. I think I want a 17th land, and I'm not sure that I want like a full 4 Rathalos' Gift, this is something that I would like to draw in the mid game, but I don't really want it in the early game, right? Like, this is something that I'm pretty darn happy to have on, like, turn 4 or 5, but I don't want in the early turns. So maybe, like, one of these is supposed to be another Abundant Growth effect, or maybe one of these is supposed to be one more enchantment that can go and sacrifice itself. I think that's reasonable. As far as the sideboard goes, I kind of liked the stuff that I had access to. Fatigue is a little weird in that, like, it shuts off your Tendrils and shuts off your Green Sun, but I think it's okay. Yeah, would very much appreciate thoughts in the comments about cards that could slot into this deck if you have any. I don't know that this deck gets to play Thera's Sanctum. Like, I think that's a land that very much could be considered for this deck. Like, in that, like, you have a lot of enchantments and it's going to make a bunch of mana, but I don't need colorless mana so much as I repeatedly need green mana specifically. Yep, anyway, have a great rest of the day, folks. If you made it this far in the video, please consider liking and subscribing. Those help my videos out for free. Have a great rest of the day. See ya!